was once full of mysterious and hidden locations that took thousands of years for mankind to just now be finishing the complete map of. Over the last century, the majority of larger landmasses left on the planet have been discovered, and the advances in satellites have allowed our kind to see the entirety of the planet without ever leaving our comfy little computer chairs. But we live on an ever-changing planet, and who's to say that there isn't at least one more island out there, lost to time and forgotten from the rest of the globe? What if Skull Island was real? The legendary Skull Island and its story has been evolving ever since the home of Kong was first shown. So let's not tie this theory to any specific one of the adaptations coming from the different films throughout the decades. But at its core, the island is simple. An island hidden to mankind, full of dangerous creatures all wanting to claim their next meal. A place where its seclusiveness has created a unique and almost unreal set of environments, inhabitants, and life-changing scientific discoveries. So what if in today's world, we were to finally come in contact with the Earth's last unknown island? It wouldn't matter if it were a film crew, a batch of explorers, or scientists being shuttled by the military. The results of a find like this would ripple out to the rest of the planet all the same. Just like with the recent UFO talk in our real world, the discovery of this monster-riddled island would eventually get out to the public in today's world. Any of the individuals who survived the discovery would go home, back to their family and friends, and tell exaggerated stories of how the sights they saw were so horrible and so unsettling that they couldn't sleep. A question comes to mind: would the governments of the world allow a discovery like this to even be set out to the public eye? Give me your thoughts on this down in the comments. What would first be excitement and interest would turn into paranoia, fear, and irrational behavior. There would be plenty of critics though. Images are so easy to edit and alter these days that pictures brought back would be said to be really good CGI, or this is just some YouTuber trying to get views. With Bigfoot, Nessie, and all the sightings of famous mythical creatures creating a viewpoint of it all being a joke over the decades, why believe stories of monster islands? This would lead to suspicions of the island being real in the first place, and if today's society translates into this theory at all, a large cultural, political shouting match about the island would fire up on social media. After a matter of some time, a follow-up mission to confirm the existence of this island would need to occur. Satellites would aim down on the general location of the island until it was found, and aircraft would first be sent in to survey the space from a more safe vantage point. The visual evidence gathered here would end all doubt of the island being some sort of hoax, and this is where things would get exciting. Since the people of today are less heartless when it comes to animals as they were back in the early 1920s and 1930s when this story was made, let's say in this theory that Kong was left on the island. With that established, let's move forward everyone. The world would react with a bang, and the #1 trending topic would be this monster island. For a time, most of the world's griefs would go away in favor of this grand discovery. Science teams guarded by military escorts would be sent into the island monthly, each time making new discoveries. Some wonderful, others not so much. The first year or so of research and exploration after the original discovery would be kept highly classified. Naturally, this would lead to curious, rebellious folk trying to sneak their way into the island so they could see it for themselves and hopefully get rich and famous for it. It would only be a matter of time till someone went missing, and missing on Skull Island usually means you're dead. After a civilian death, the island would be under constant surveillance, and it would become almost impossible to reach the island before being stopped. Similar to how it all plays out with the Jurassic Park islands, for a little bit of reference there. But the interest in this island would still continue on around the globe. The only logical thing to do to both keep the island and any careless tourists safe would be to make a documentary about the island itself. Have David Attenborough narrate it, with Morgan Freeman contracted in on the side just in case Sir David doesn't come back. And throw that shit on Netflix for hundreds of millions of dollars. Why have an island full of alien-like creatures and not try to make a profit from it, right? See, in the end, the story of Skull Island lives on. A place of beauty and mystery, hoard out to make a quick buck. But at least in this scenario, the island was treated with respect, and at the end of the day, the world was finally able to see the island in the safety of their own homes. If only there wasn't plenty of questionably motivated characters who watched the documentary. A scientific film can make a lot of money, but once it's done and out, it's not something you can really continue to get rich off of. Black market higher-ups would attempt to send in poachers and mercenaries, and protecting the island would suddenly become as real as it is out in Africa right now, where firefights routinely happen when rangers come across poachers. The rich and devious people would pay poor island locals to do the work for them, as they are desperate to make any income at all, and if they were to die or be captured by the enforcement around the island, no one's gonna miss them. The good guys, if there ever is such a thing in this scenario, might eventually bring back local wild and plant life from the island, any that aren't deadly or invasive, and keep them in specially made enclosures. Over time, the island would become normalized to an extent. Experts and brave tourists would be allowed to come to the safe zones on the island, and the casual world would slowly lose interest in this land. The world would continue on with or without the island, and those living there. But if you were to throw in this sad fate of Skull Island that usually happens where it's consumed by the ocean or a great storm, how would us humans react then? Would we bring all the creatures to the mainland if we had enough time to save them? A story for another time. It's hard to predict how the world would react to a new island full of monsters being discovered. If you compare it to how society has reacted to recent massive scientific advances and discoveries, it might sadly be overshadowed by a celebrity having a bad hair day at the beach, and that's a bit concerning. Hopefully it wouldn't be like that. So residents, I hope you enjoyed this what if video today. If I sounded a little bit weirder compared to normal, I was at the lake and I have a little bit of a nasally thing going on, so apologies for that. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe, hit the bell, and do all that YouTube stuff. We really do appreciate it. And like always, I will see you all in the next one.